Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Quotation again. This is the second video in our Java playlist and here we are going to discuss a couple of things. In this video, we are going to cover the theory part of like how Java works, the WORA principle, the platform independence of Java, and the code structure or the basics. So the simple code that we have written in the last video, we are going to analyze that one. We are going to look the structure of it, study the anatomy of a class. And in the part second of this video, we are going to do the practical. So whatever we are going to study in this code structure, we are going to do it practically in IntelliJ, but that will be covered in the second part of this video. So let's start. In this section, we are going to see a very important aspect of Java, which is its ability to be platform independent. This is also known as WORA, write once, run anywhere. Anywhere means any device capable of running Java. That is any device having JVM. Now we are going to discuss JVM in one of our later videos where we will also differentiate between JVM, JDK and JRE. But for now, think of JVM as something that runs the main method of Java program. But how can this be achieved? Like how I can write one source code, suppose on Windows machine, and it should be possible to be able to execute this code on Linux, Windows, or let's say Mac machine. This is achieved by bytecode, which is a dot class file. Now, if you remember when we were doing like a very simple program in our last video, we show that when we compile the code, a dot class file was generated. This dot class file is a bytecode. So when we write a source code of a program and compile it using Java-C, compiler will create a dot class file that is bytecode, which is platform independent. This bytecode can be run anywhere. Any device which has JVM can read and run this bytecode. So basically this bytecode is an instruction set for JVM. Any machine running JVM should be able to translate it into something it can run. Now to understand it more nicely, what you guys can do is write a code in one of the operating systems. Suppose you have a Windows machine, you write a code and then you compile this code, dot class file is generated. Now take this dot class file and transfer it into another machine which has Java installed and with a different operating system, of course. Suppose the other one has Mac, and then run this class file, and you'll see that even the code written in Windows machine, you are able to execute even in Mac. So in this section, we are going to discuss about the code structure in Java and basically anatomy of a very simple code that we have written in the last video. So let's begin. In a source file, there can be multiple classes. So like if you see on the right hand side where I put the snapshot of welcome.java, you see there's one class that I've written. But there can be multiple classes in this source code file welcome.java. But only one class can be public. So there can be multiple classes in this welcome.java, but only one class will be public. If you're providing more than one public class, then compiler will give error. We will see all these details, like whatever we are going to discuss on this slide, we are going to see in ID as well, like all the practical things. Whatever we are going to discuss here, we are going to see practically in the ID as well. But for now, understand like one source file can have multiple classes. So class 1 it can there, or probably class 2 up to class n, but just one public class. Okay. Now, within a class, there can be multiple methods, but just one method with signature PSVM. Now, what is this PSVM? PSVM is a shortcut that in ID you can use for writing this complete signature of the method. Like you can when you give this PSVM, it will write public static void main PSVM with argument string args. So we will discuss about this like arguments and all in whenever we are going to uh, discuss about the methods. But for now, understand that a class can have multiple methods, but just one method with this exact same signature of PSVM, public static void main with arguments as string args. A method can have multiple statements. Now, what is an statement? This print line that we are using. This is an statement. There can be more statements. We will discuss this once we read about operators, loops. So, yeah, there can be multiple statements, and each statement will end with a semicolon. Now, when you run a class, JVM loads the class and then runs everything that is present these within these curly braces of the main method. So whenever we are running a class, JVM, what the JVM does it loads the class and runs everything within curly braces of main method. Okay. Now the next important point is Java is case sensitive. So if you're giving, suppose in this main method, this name is main, suppose you give the name as capital MAIN, then Java compiler will not recognize it. It will say, I don't find a main method. We will see this again when we will be covering this in ID, when we will be covering these points in practical, we will see and show that Java is case sensitive. Now, these braces are the blocks of the code. This again, it will be more clear when we know more about Java, like when we know about operators, loops, then it will be more clear. But like even for this methods, the boundaries are defined by these curly braces, and these are also known as blocks in your program. Now, the last point again, every Java application must have a main method that is declared in this way. Which way? Again that PSVM, public static void main, having the argument as string args, and then these statements. If you don't give this main method, then Java will throw error. In this section, we are going to discuss some more aspects of the code that we have written in the last video. If you might have noticed, there are a few words that are being used here, like this public, class, static, void. These are all keywords in Java. This public is an access modifier, and we will discuss this and other modifiers when we will be creating a video for access modifiers. Class is everything in Java is contained in a class. So think of class as a container for the application or the program logic. Static and void is something that we are going to discuss in details when we will be discussing about the methods. Now, one more thing that we can discuss, or probably that I want to highlight here, is about the naming convention of a class. It starts like with a letter, and then it can have any letter or digit, any combination of letter digits. But the standard that is being used is that it should be a noun and start with a capital letter. And the third and most important thing is like name of the class and the file name should be same. This concludes the theory part of this video. As this video was getting big, I put the practical part in the next video. So please watch the second part of this to get in-depth details for the practical part. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share it with the friends, and subscribe the channel Code Thank you so much.